So hello everyone. Today we're going to start the last session of environment current affairs with regard to films this time. Okay. So first we'll see which are the important topics which we'll be covering today. So we'll start with the SCIA project, that is Sustainable Cities Integrated Approach pilot project. Then we have the Green Initiative which has been introduced in the budget 2023. Apart from that, then we'll be discussing the sovereign green bonds framework, which has been recently introduced by the government. Then the National Action Plan on Climate Change, which is really important. Then we'll see the conservation and protection of mangroves, the major initiatives with regard to that. Then also there is a new initiative called Green Fins Hub. Okay. Then we'll move on to the coastal regulation zone. We'll also see a report called the Renewables 2022 Global Status Report, which provides the status of the renewables across the world. Then we'll also see the National Green Hydrogen Mission. Then we'll move on to the long-term low emission development strategy, LT-LEDs. We actually saw this earlier also, but we'll see this in detail now. Then about the leadership group, that is leadership group for industry transition. Then we'll also see a battery waste management rule, which has been notified recently. After that, we'll be seeing the new program, PM Pranam. It is actually a new program introduced for alternative nutrients for agriculture management, so that they can provide an alternative for fertilizers and also opt for organic and biofertilizers. Then we'll also see the initiative called International Solar Alliance. Then also we'll have a look into the microplastics and the impacts it causes on the environment. Then we'll just compile all the reports and organization we have studied so far, and we'll just have a brief about. So these would be the major topics we would be covering today. Okay. So yes, we'll start with the first topic, that is Sustainable Cities Integrated Approach pilot project, that is SCIA project. Okay. So as the name suggests, it is with regard to what? Ensuring sustainability of cities. Okay. So recently, UN Habitat has been studying the findings with the SCIA project report and highlighted the issues related to Jaipur's urban development. And they have also proposed strategic interventions so that they could promote sustainable development in Jaipur's urban region. Okay. So that is why this was actually news. And you must also know about this program, that is SCIA project. It's actually an initiative which is funded by who? The Global Environment Facility, and it is implemented by two UN bodies, that is UNIDO and UN Habitat. Okay. And it is also in partnership with MOHUA, that is Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Clear? So it is funded by Global Environmental Facility, and two implementing partners are UNIDO and UN Habitat, and also it is in partnership with who? The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, that is MOHUA. Okay. Yes. And also you must know that there are 5 cities which are covered under this pilot project. So Jaipur, we already spoke about Jaipur. So there is Jaipur, then Bhopal in central India. Then in the south, there is Mysore, Vijayawada and Guntur. Okay. So it's easy to remember. In the north, that is Rajasthan part, there is Jaipur. In central India, there is Bhopal. And in the south, there is Mysore, Vijayawada and Guntur. So there are 5 pilot cities which are covered under this SCIA project. And remember, it is funded by who? The Global Environmental Facility, and implemented by UNIDO and UN Habitat along with MOHUA, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Okay? Yes. Now we'll see what are the major goals of SCIA. Okay. Obviously, what will it be? Yes, it is trying to infuse sustainable strategies into urban planning and management at the city level. Okay, so they are trying to make sustainable cities. Okay. And how are they going to do? They're trying to create an enabling environment for investment in green infrastructure. Okay, so all the infrastructure which they are making investment will try to reduce the greenhouse emission and improve service delivery, and also enhance the quality of living of every citizens. And through this, they are trying to build resilience and strengthen the governance capacities of the cities. So basically, they are trying to make sustainable cities, and by investing in green infrastructures, that can reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, and improve the quality of living. Okay, so through this, they are building resilience and strengthening the governance capacities of the cities. Here, so that is the aim of here. Okay. Then, apart from that, there is a major component of SCIAP, that is Urban Sustainability Assessment Framework. That is USA, Urban Sustainability Assessment Framework. So this is actually an assessment framework which gives us decision support tool to municipal commissioners and urban practitioners. What does that mean? So whoever is trying to implement the planning and management strategy, that is municipal commissioners or urban practitioners, so they are given a set of standards so that they can decide what they can assess how far they have achieved the sustainability targets. So it's actually urban sustainability assessment framework. They'll be able to assess how far they have achieved the concept of sustainability or planning and implementing sustainable cities. Okay, so that is USAF, which is a part of SCIAF. Okay, and according to this, Jaipur has been given a rating of 3. Okay, according to USAF, Jaipur has been given a rating of 3. Okay, so that is it about SCIAF. Okay, so we spoke, it is implemented by who? UNIDO and UN Habitat, and it is funded by Global Environment Facility, and it is also, MOHUA is also an implementing partner. Okay, and it ensures what? To build sustainable cities. Clear? Okay. Okay, so now we'll see one important organization which we have told about in this report, that is UN Habitat. Okay, so UN Habitat is very important. We'll see. It is United Nations Human Settlement Program, and it is an agency for human settlements. Okay, and why is it important? Yes, it mandates the UNGA to promote what socially and environmentally sustainable towns and cities. Okay, so UN Habitat is the basically an organization who tries to promote what sustainable towns and cities. Okay, so that everybody would have a home or adequate shelter. That basic objective is similar to what in Awas Yojana, that is housing for all. Okay, and also make cities sustainable. Okay, not just housing for all. Okay, and we must also know the major publications by UN Habitat. It publishes a report called the State of World Cities, the Global Report on Human Settlements. Then there's a new urban agenda and also sustainable development goals and urban local bodies, the future we want. So even if you won't remember all these names, you must just remember that it is something related to what? Cities and habitat. So whatever reports comes with these names, that is State of World Cities, the Global Report on Human Settlements, right? New urban agenda. So whatever that names, urban city or human settlements come, it will be related to what? UN Habitat. Just remember like that. Right? If possible, remember these names. Otherwise, you can link it with the names. Okay. So that is UN Habitat. Remember, it is the Human Settlements Program of the United Nations, and it is mandated. What it actually mandates what? Social and environmental creation of social and environmental sustainable towns and cities, so that there is adequate shelter for all. Okay, and also the publications which is released by the UN Habitat. Okay, we have the State of World Cities, the Global Report on Human Settlements. There's a new urban agenda, and there is sustainable development goals and urban local bodies, the future we want. Clear? Okay. So we'll move on to the next important topic, that is the green initiatives in the budget. So all the climate change initiatives, the green initiatives which were discussed in the budget is very important, especially in the film's point of view. UPSC has a very good tendency of asking these themes. Okay. So yes, in this year's budget, the government has initiated a series of 7 initiatives from green hydrogen, mangroves protection to green credit and replacement of polluting vehicles. Okay. So it is also called the Saptarshi guiding. That means it is a principle of 7. I mean, there are 7 principles which are guiding India through Amrit Kaal. That is Saptarshi. Okay. So it is a series of 7 initiatives. Okay. So that is what Yes, green initiatives which are introduced in the budget. Okay, so we'll see which are these initiatives. We'll start with the first initiative, that is Green Hydrogen Mission. So this is a very really important mission because this has been given so much focus in this year's budget, as well as it has been in discussion for almost a year. So this, in the recent budget, that is, we have launched a national green hydrogen mission. Okay, in the latest budget, that is in January this year, we have introduced the national green hydrogen mission. Okay, so why is it there? Yes, it basically aims to transform or transition the economy to low carbon intensity and also reduce the dependence on fossil fuels. Okay, so by promoting green hydrogen or hydrogen fuel, we are trying to reduce what? The carbon footprint. Okay, then we would also try to what? Make India a leader in technology and market for what? This sunrise sector. Okay, for the hydrogen sector, we are trying to build the technology and acquire market leadership in this sector. Okay, and we are going to make India a green hydrogen hub. Okay, and the target is at least an annual production of 5 MMT of green hydrogen by 2030. So that is our target. Okay, so that is green hydrogen mission. Now we have the renewable energy evacuation program. So first one was the green hydrogen mission, then we have the renewable energy evacuation program. So what does that mean? So we are actually constructing an interstate transmission system. Okay, so all the renewable energy produced, that is at least 13 gigawatts of renewable energy from Ladakh, would be integrated to the national grid. Okay, so that is green energy evacuation system. So that is they're trying to make an interstate transmission system so that all the renewable energy produced from Ladakh would be integrated to the national grid. That is renewable energy evacuation. Clear? Okay. Then we have the green credit program. So as the name suggests, it gives credit toward companies, individuals, and local bodies, so that their behavior, there is behavioral change. Okay, and it will be notified under what? The Environmental Protection Act. So we know that whenever a program should be successful, what should we have? There should be behavioral change. That people should adapt to that change, right? People should opt for that change, so that this green credit program actually gives funding to this behavioral change, funding for this behavioral change. Okay, then we have one of the most important initiative, that is PM Pranam, that is promotion of alternative nutrients for agriculture management yojana, which has been launched in this budget. Okay, and it will actually try to incentivize states and union territories to promote what? Alternative fertilizers and balanced use of chemical fertilizers. Okay, so they're trying to promote organic and biofertilizers along with what? Balanced use of chemical fertilizers. So we'll see that in detail later on in this session itself. Okay, because that is very important, especially in film's point of view. Next, there is a Gobardhan scheme. This is actually not a new scheme. It was introduced earlier itself. Okay, and it is actually a waste to wealth program. So it's Gobardhan. Gobar means, yes, the waste of cow, right? The gobar and dhan. They're trying to make dhan out of gobar. That means waste to wealth. Okay, so they're trying to establish a 500 new waste to wealth plants as a part of Gobardhan scheme, and it also would introduce what? 200 compressed biogas plants. Okay, so we spoke about biogas in the last session, so I hope you all remember about it. Okay, so through this scheme, we are going to install at least 200 compressed biogas plants. Okay, so that is Gobardhan scheme. Then we have the Bharatiya Prakrit Kheti Bio Input Resource Centers, which facilitates which is trying to facilitate at least 1 crore farmers to adopt natural farming. Okay, so instead of using fertilizers and other inputs, they're trying to promote natural farming, encouraging farmers to adopt natural farming for the next 3 years. Okay, For that, they are also setting up 10,000 bio input resource centers. Okay, so that is Bharatiya Prakritik Kheti Input Resource Centers. Then we have the Mishti initiative, that is with regard to mangroves. Okay, it is mangrove initiative for shoreline habitats and tangible incomes. So through this scheme, they are going to what? Conserve the mangrove habitats along with what? Trying to generate income from that. Okay, so it's not just conservation, but they are also trying to produce some economic value from mangroves. Okay, so they're trying to what? Plant or what? Conserve and plant more and more what? Mangroves along the coastline and salt pans across India through the help of what? NREJ and Campa funding. Okay, so that is Mishti initiative. Then we have the Amrit Dharohar, which is with regard to conservation of wetlands. So we already spoke of Ramsar conventions and also the 75 Ramsar identified sites in India. Okay, 75 at 75. So this is another initiative which has which is trying to promote conservation of wetland. They're trying to optimize the use of wetlands, enhance the biodiversity, carbon stock, ecotourism opportunities, and also ensure income to the local communities. So that is Amrit Dharohar. Clear? So these are the initiatives that has been given stress in the recent budget. So we have the Amrit Dharohar with regard to conservation of wetlands. Then there's Mishti initiative with regard to mangroves for shoreline habitats and tangible incomes. Okay. Then we have the Bharatiya Prakrit Kheti Bio Input Resource Centers for to promote natural farming among farmers. Then we have the Govardhan scheme for waste to wealth. Okay. Then apart from that, we have we have the green hydrogen mission, which has been in use very frequently. It's the most important mission recently launched so that we can reduce the carbon footprint. Okay, and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, then there is a renewable energy evacuation initiative so that we can integrate the renewable energy from Ladakh to the national grid. Okay, then there is a green credit program which ensures behavioral change among the stakeholders, that is companies, individuals, local bodies, etc. To be notified, and it is notified under the Environmental Protection Act. Then the most important PM Pranam, that is promotion of alternative nutrients for agricultural management unit. Okay, they are focusing on promoting alternative fertilizers. Okay, and also balanced use of chemical fertilizers. Clear? So these are the initiatives that has been launched as Saptarshi, or which has been focused as Saptarshi targets in in the budget. Clear? Okay. Now we'll see another important topic which has been given so much emphasis in the recent budget as well as the economic survey. It is the sovereign green bonds framework. Okay. So this has been in news very frequently. Okay, mainly because Reserve Bank of India has launched its sovereign green bonds, the first sovereign green bonds. Okay, and it has been issued in 2 tranches with an aggregate amount of 16,000 crore. Okay, and there has been a 5-year and 10-year green bonds. Okay, 2 types, that is 5-year bonds and 10-year bonds with 4,000 crores each, and it was launched on 25th and January and 9th February. Okay, so the first time the RBI has launched its sovereign green bond. Sovereign means with regard to the country. Okay, it's only for India. Okay, then why is it utilized? All the proceedings which we get from this bonds would be taken up to public sector projects in order to reduce which are trying to reduce carbon emissions. Okay, so all the projects which are trying to reduce carbon emissions would be funded from this sovereign green bonds. All the proceedings from this sovereign green bonds. Okay, and also the finance minister has emphasized that it will be issued for mobilizing resources for green projects. Okay, so our finance minister has already told in the budget that such bonds would be used for funding all the green projects. Okay. Or it will try to mobilize resources for green projects. Okay. So yes, sovereign green bonds has been issued. Okay. As a 5-year as well as a 10-year green bonds. And it has been issued on 25th January and 9th February. And it will fund what all the public sector projects which will try to reduce carbon emission. And our finance minister has told it is a what it is trying to mobilize resources for green projects through issuance of such sovereign green bonds. Okay. So now we'll see what are these green bonds. Okay, so we have been speaking about green bonds. So what exactly is green bonds? Okay. Yes. These could be what issued by not just country like India, but also by companies and multilateral organizations. And why are they issued? These all the proceedings from this would be exclusively funded for projects which have a positive impact on environment or will try to reduce what the climate change impacts. Okay. And whatever they invest, whatever the people invest, they'll have returns with fixed income payments. Okay. So these are green bonds. So remember, it is not just a country which can issue green bonds. If it's a country, it will be called sovereign green bond. And otherwise, it can be issued by who? Companies, multilateral organization, etc. And whatever the funding would be obtained or the what proceeds from this green bonds would be used for funding what all the projects which have positive impact on environment and which reduces what the impact of climate change. Okay, so it will be fun. It will be used as a funding for all green initiatives. Okay, so some of the examples are renewable energy, clean transportation, and green buildings. So we'll see a bit more examples here. You can see all the eligible categories which could be funded by green bonds. So we have the renewable energy, which could be funded. Then we have the energy efficiency and conservation initiatives. Then all the initiatives to curb pollution and control it. Okay. Then it could also be used for waste management and resource recovery. Right. For example, recently there has been fire in the Kochi, right? The Kochi waste. So such waste plants. So recycling of waste on such waste plants could also be funded through green bonds. Okay. Then also water and wastewater management. That is solid waste and liquid waste management. Okay. Then also natural conservation or biodiversity conservation, especially conservation of the Himalayas and the Western Ghats, the biodiversity hotspots of India. Right. Then also it can be used for what? For clean transportation. Okay, funding all the clean transportation. Clean transportation means which has reduced pollution, such as what? Electric vehicles, electric mobility. Right. Then also it will be used for green buildings. Green buildings means, yes, carbon negative buildings or all the buildings which reduce carbon emission. Okay. Which has what? Energy efficient buildings. Okay. Then also for climate change adaptation. Okay. So for any of the projects with relation to these, we can use what? Green bonds as funding. Clear? So that is green bonds. So remember, it's not just countries who issue green bonds. It can be issued by companies as well as multilateral organizations, so that the proceedings could be used for what? Funding renewable projects or reducing the impact of climate change and carbon footprint. Okay, so that is green bonds. Okay, now we'll see about what India's sovereign green bonds framework. So this is what was there in about the economic survey as well as the budget this year. So yes, we have already spoken about RBI publishing the sovereign green bonds. So this is actually a framework. Okay, so this green bond will be issued for what? For mobilizing resources for green infrastructure. So we already spoke about this. And what is the basic aim? Yes, it will try to mobilize at least rupees 16,000 crore through issuance of green bonds until March 2023. So this year itself, that is, I don't know how much successful it was, but yes, they have kept a target of rupees 16,000 crore for what? Issuance, at least 16,000 crore of green bonds would be issued until March 2023. And under the framework, our finance minister every year would inform the RBI about the funding of the projects. Okay, spending of green projects. Okay, whatever the issue, whatever the green bonds has been issued, whatever the amount is, the proceeds. Okay, so how it will be used, that will be informed by finance minister to what the RBI. Okay, this is the basic aim of the what so India's sovereign green bonds framework. So at least 16,000 crore of bonds would be issued by what March 2023, and yes, the whatever the proceeds is, according to this framework, the finance ministry would inform the RBI how much it has spent on green projects. Okay, clear. So we'll see what are the major features of this SGRBs. So one important thing is it will be issued through a uniform price auction. So what is this uniform price auction? Yes, that means the price would be like similar to all of this, like it will be fixed for similar kind of things, and there'll be a uniform price. You cannot much bargain on it. Okay, so sovereign green bonds would be issued as a uniform price auction. Okay, and this is subject to what repo transaction. Okay, it is eligible for repo. That means repo means the amount at which bank borrows from RBI. Okay, so such it will be what eligible for repo transactions, and also it could be used as what the statutory liquidity ratio, that is SLR. So what is SLR? You would have learned it in economics, right? Statutory liquidity ratio. Yes, it is the amount that has to be kept by bank. Okay, within itself. It has to be maintained by bank within itself as what gold, cash, or securities. Okay. So whenever there is an amount given as loan, a certain percentage of it has to be kept as SLR by itself. Okay, it has to be maintained as statutory liquidity ratio, and it need not be kept at RBI. It is kept by itself at the bank. Okay, so this sovereign green bonds could be used as what this SLR. Okay, and it is also eligible for trading in secondary market. So if you're buying these green bonds, you can also trade it in the secondary market. You can actually sell it or buy it. Okay, and it is also what specified security in a fully accessible route. That is, an NRI residents can use this as a government securities, can buy this as a government security. Okay, so that these are the features of what SDRBs. That is, it has uniform price auction. It can be issued through what? It will be issued through uniform price auction. Then there is a it is eligible for what? Repo, that is repurchase transaction, and it could be also used as a SLR, statutory liquidity ratio purposes, and also it is eligible for what? Trading in the secondary market, and the non-residents NRIs can what use this as securities, government securities. Okay, it's under the fully accessible rule. Okay, so these are the some of the features of sovereign green bonds. Clear? And who is the implementing agency? Okay, it is actually the finance ministry itself, and for that they have constituted a committee called the Green Finance Working Committee, and it is chaired by the Chief Economic Advisor. Okay, so the implementing agency is Ministry of Finance, which has constituted what? The Green Finance Working Committee, and it is chaired by who? The Chief Economic Advisor. And also remember, the members are from the relevant ministries. Okay. And apart from that, they at least meet twice a year so that they can give assistance to the Ministry of Finance for the important projects and how much and to evaluate the projects. Okay, so which project could be used for what green this funding, the sovereign bond funding. Okay, so such selection and evaluation of how much it's successful, that is done by this committee, and so that, and it will assist actually the Ministry of Finance to assess how much it is successful. Okay, and also to select such what initiatives. So that is what green sovereign green bonds and the Green Finance Working Committee. Clear? Says yes. I hope it's clear. Sovereign green bonds. So we spoke about sovereign green bonds. RBI has already issued. Okay, and also the we spoke about the green bonds, what it is, and how the funding would be used. Right? Which all sectors it could be used. Okay, UPC can ask like they can give you a list of sectors and ask like which sectors this green bonds could be used. So that's a probable question. Okay, and also you can they can ask about the sovereign green bonds, the funding mechanism, about this committee. Okay, Green Finance Working Committee, who chairs it and all. Okay. And also, how about this last session we saw, right? Last slide. Yeah, this the features of HF. How it can be used? Is it eligible for repo transaction or could be maintained it as you basically can give a statement that sovereign green bonds cannot be used as SLR or it can also be used as SLR. So you must know whether it's right or wrong. Okay. And it is also eligible for trading in secondary mass market and also it can be used as what securities in by NRIs as government securities. Okay, clear? So that is sovereign green bonds and sovereign green bond framework. Okay. Next important topic is the National Action Plan on Climate Change. Okay. So this National Action Plan on Climate Change is a very important initiative. It is actually a flagship initiative by the government with regard to what? The climate change. Okay. And it has a set of 8 projects or 8 targets, action plans, with concerning each sector. So we'll see that in detail. Okay. So why it is important is because recently the economic survey has highlighted the progress, like how much successful these 8 missions are. Okay. And how much it has addressed what climate concerns and promoted sustainable development. Okay, how much successful these initiatives are has been highlighted in the economic survey. Okay, and you must also know that this National Action Plan on Climate Change was actually launched in 2008. Okay, and it has established what a 8 national commission covered under what this several initiatives. Okay, yeah. So we'll see which are the important initiatives. So there is a National Action Plan on Climate Change, and one of the initiatives under it is the National Solar Mission. Okay, so we know National Solar Mission means to increase the solar power in India, that is photovoltaic cells, the transition toward the solar energy. Okay, so there's a National Solar Mission. So we have installed solar parks, etc. with regard to that. So we'll see all the success in the next slide. So first, we'll see what are the important projects of NAPCC. Then we have the National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. Sustainable agriculture means yes, efficient use of water, efficient use of fertilizer, etc. So that the agriculture sector becomes sustainable. Okay. Then we have the National Mission for a Green India, for which we have started a lot of green initiatives across the country. Green transportation, green buildings, etc. Okay. Then we have the National Mission for Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem. This is an initiative which tries to conserve the Himalayan ecosystem, which gives emphasis on the Himalayan ecosystem. Okay. Then we have the National Water Mission, so that we can conserve water, especially water used for irrigation, and also ensure essential drinking water available to all. Okay. Then we have the National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, so that we can ensure efficient use of energy. Okay. Then there is a National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. Okay. Then also there is a mission called National Mission on Strategic Knowledge of for climate change. Okay. So yes, I suggest you study all this by heart, because even if it is not used in prelims, you can use this for writing mains answers. Okay. So it would be really good to remember all these action plans. Okay. So according to National Action Plan on Climate Change, there are 8 missions under it. There's a National Solar Mission. There's a National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. Then there's a National Mission for a Green India. Then there's a National Mission for Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem. There's a National Water Mission, National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency. Then there's a National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. Then also there's a National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. Clear? So we'll see the success of each of these initiatives as highlighted by what the economic survey. Okay. So economic survey has actually highlighted the success of these initiatives recently. Okay. The first one is this National Solar Mission. So according to the economic survey, we have what install a capacity of at least 61.62 gigawatts of solar capacity by October 2022. Okay, so we have been successful in what the National Solar Mission. So at least 61.62 gigawatts of installed solar power capacity. Okay. Try to remember this data, at least not the whole one, but at least the important one such as solar power capacity, so that you can use it for mains answers. Okay. Then there's a national mission for enhanced energy efficiency. So this is actually measured through PAT cycle. That is, PAT means perform, achieve, and trade. Okay. And recently the latest PAT cycle, but PAT cycle 7 has been notified. Okay. So basically, PAT means perform, achieve, trade means they are trying to give certain set standards for which industries has to meet in order to reduce what their carbon footprint. Okay, to enhance energy efficiency. So according to this PAT cycle 7 notified in October 2021, they are trying to save energy of at least 6.63 million tons of oil equivalent. Okay, so they're trying to save energy, efficient use of energy. Okay, so it is measured through PAT cycle, perform, achieve, and trade. So it is measured for the energy efficiencies of industries. Okay. Then we have the National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. Through this initiative, we are trying to promote what? We have already built 721 kilometers of metro rail network. And also we have what ensured individual household toilets as well as community and public toilets. So based on this mission, we have what the Swachh Bharat mission and also the metro rail network created. Clear? That is National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. Okay, so we have actually achieved the target of open defecation free status. Okay, that is, we have achieved the target of what Swachh Bharat mission rural. Okay, then we have the National Mission for a Green India. Based on that, we have what covered, we have achieved a forestation target for at least 2.1 lakh hectares. Okay, according to a national forest policy, we are targeting for at least making 33% of the whole area under of geographical area under forest cover. And through National Mission for a Green India, we have achieved what? Yes, at least 2.1 lakh hectare of forest cover. Afforestation has been done. Okay. Then we have the National Water Mission yes, we have already spoken about the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, right? So we have both Jal Shakti Abhiyan and Jal Jeevan Mission. Okay. And also the Catch the Rain campaign. So Catch the Rain campaign was an initiative launched by our Prime Minister for what? To ensure rainwater harvesting. So our Prime Minister has asked every household in the country to what? Create water harvesting structure so that you can catch the rain. Okay. And you can what? Recharge the aquifers, or you can reuse the rainwater. Okay. And stop the runoff of rainwater. So that is National Water Mission. So we have launched the Jal Shakti Abhiyan and we are successful on the Catch the Rain campaign. Okay. Then we have the National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. So for that, we have created at least 12 Centers of Excellence with regard to climate change to achieve this. Okay. Then we have the National Mission for Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem. So we have inter-university consortium as well as 8 major R&D programs under this for ensuring sustainable Himalayan ecosystem. Okay. Then the last mission, that is National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. So we have been successful for promoting organic farming for at least 0.15 lakh hectares of land, and also we have been promoting micro irrigation practices. Okay, so whenever we're talking about micro irrigation practices, what is micro irrigation? Yes, it is sprinkler and drip irrigation type of projects, right? So that we are trying to irrigate using drops of water. Okay, so whenever you're speaking about micro irrigation, you must remember one initiative by the government, that is Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchaya Yojana. Okay, so it has actually promoted what micro irrigation, and it has two objectives. One is Har Khet Ko Pani and per drop more crop. So for every drop of water, we are trying to create more crops, and also we are trying to provide water for every cropland. That is Har Khet Ko Pani. So these are the two objectives of what Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchaya Yojana. Okay, so by this we know that we have been somewhat successful in all the 8 initiatives of National Action Plan on Climate Change. Clear? Okay, so try to remember all this, at least the important missions under this National Action Plan on Climate Change. So we have the National Solar Mission, then National Mission for Enhancing Energy Efficiency, then we have the what? Mission on Sustainable Habitat. So for sustainable habitat, we have created what both metro rail network as well as individual household toilets as well as public toilets. We have promoted afforestation and achieved what National Mission for a Green India. As part of National Water Mission, we have launched the Jal Shakti Abhiyan and Catch the Rain campaign. Then there is a National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. Okay, through which we have created at least 12 Center of Excellence with regard to climate change. Then National Mission for Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem is there. We have promoted R&D. And there's a mission for sustaining agriculture. So we have promoted both organic farming and also micro irrigation. Clear? So these are the 8 initiatives under what National Action Plan on Climate Change. Okay. Now we'll see another important project which has been emphasized in the recent budget, that is conservation and protection of mangroves. So there is an initiative called Mishti which has been given importance in this year's budget. So based on that, we'll be seeing all the rest of the initiatives which has been covered under conservation and covered for initiated by the government for conservation and protection of mangroves. Okay. So yes, government has been taking a lot of steps for protection, protect, sustain, conserve, and augment forest, and they have promoted both promotional as well as regulatory measures. Okay, so promotional measures in order to promote this cultivation of mangroves, or promote planting mangroves, and regulatory measures in order to check the or conserve regulate the destruction of mangroves. Okay, reduce the destruction of mangroves. Okay, so with regard to promotional measures, the initiative, there is central sector scheme under the National Coastal Mission Program, and it is with regard to conservation and management of mangroves and coral reefs. Okay, so they are trying to promote mangroves. So there is a conservation management of mangroves and coral reefs program under National Coastal Mission. Okay, and it is also a central sector scheme. Okay, and what are they trying to do? They are trying to create a management action plan. Okay, and it will be formulated and implemented on all coastal states and union territories. Okay, that's a conservation and management action plan. Management action plan. Okay, so that is how they're being promoted. Then the regulatory measures which are implemented. How are the regulations implemented? Yes, we know the Coastal Regulation Zone under the Environmental Protection Act. So this is being used to regulate destruction of or the regions covered by mangrove. Okay, then there is a Wildlife Protection Act through which community reserves and conservation reserves could be notified. Then the Indian Forest Act, and also the Biological Diversity Act 2002. All these has provisions for regulatory measures with regard to conservation of mangroves. So there's Coastal Regulation Act, Wildlife Protection Act, Indian Forest Act, and Biological Diversity Act. Okay. Yeah, so there's a promotional measure as well as regulatory measures. Okay. Yes. Now, there's also an initiative called the Magical Mangroves Campaign. Okay. And it is an initiative by WWF India and also the 9 states 9 coastal states. Okay, for mangrove conservation. So Magical Mangroves Campaign. So it's easy to remember these 9 states. It's all the coastal states from Gujarat to West Bengal. So we have Gujarat, we have Maharashtra, we have Goa, then we have what? Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, and West Bengal. So all these 9 states are the coastal states, and that along with WWF India has launched what? Magical Mangroves Campaign for conservation of mangroves. Okay. Then there's also an integrated coastal zone management project launched by the ministry in 3 states, that is Gujarat, Odisha, and West Bengal, for what? Conservation and protection of coastal resources. Okay. So there is a integrated coastal zone management project, and it is in 3 states, that is Gujarat, Odisha, and West Bengal. Okay. Remember, Magical Mangroves Campaign is in 9 states, that is all the coastal states along with WWF India, and this integrated coastal zone management project is with regard to what? The 3 important states, that is Gujarat, Odisha, and West Bengal, for conservation and protection of coastal resources. Clear? Yes. Then there is also a mangrove and marine diversity conservation foundation. Okay. This has been created to enhance the mangrove cover and promote research and livelihood activities. Okay, there is a mangrove and marine biodiversity conservation project and conservation foundation, and it is by what? Under the Forest Department of the state government. Okay, and under this scheme, there has been initiative to conserve and manage the mangroves of Vembanad and Kannur. Okay, and it is in Kerala. And how are they trying to do? They're actually providing seedlings and mangrove species to the public in order to plant in the coastal areas. Okay, so this is an initiative by the Kerala government, Forest Department of the Kerala government. Okay, that is Mangrove and Marine Biodiversity Conservation Foundation. So what are they trying to do is they are trying to give seedlings and also mangrove species to the public, so they can actually plant. So they are making the public participate in the conservation process of mangroves. Okay, so this could actually ensure more conservation. Okay, and we know that we have seen when we look into the India State of Forest Report 2021 that there has been increase in the mangrove cover by 17 square kilometers compared to last assessment. Okay, so this such initiative is a success. Okay, and we hope that it will increase in the coming future. Okay, so these are the initiatives launched by the government, and you must also know about the Mishti initiative. Okay, yeah. So the next important initiative is the Green Fins Hub. Okay, so there is an initiative called the Green Fins Hub. Okay, so first we'll see what is Green Fins. Okay, it's basically actually to promote sustainable marine tourism. Okay, so they're trying to conserve. It is a conservation and management approach which leads to measurable reduction in negative environment impacts associated with marine tourism. That means all the snorkeling and diving activities. Okay, people who perform that should ensure environmental sustainable practice. That is the basic objective of Green Fins. Okay. Here, just remember all those who are practicing diving and snorkeling activities, that is, which is a part of marine tourism industries, they have to ensure environmental sustainable practices. Okay, so that whatever they are doing has a very less impact on the marine biodiversity. Okay, so yes, it is an initiative by who? The Reef World Foundation and UNEP. UNEP and Reef World Foundation has started this Green Fins initiative. Okay, and it is trying to protect and conserve coral reefs through Yes, promoting sustainable diving and snorkeling industries. Okay, so they're trying to conserve coral reefs and marine ecosystem through sustainable diving and snorkeling industries. And It provides the only internationally recognized environmental standards for snorkeling and diving industries. This is the only standards given to this divers and snorkelers. Okay, so that they can ensure what the compliance, how much they are successful in what ensuring sustainable diving. Okay, so green fins. Remember, fin means we have the fish has fin, right? Similarly, green fins means the human beings who's trying to dive or trying to do snorkeling have are responsible or are taking green initiatives and ensuring sustainable practices. Okay, so that the coral reefs and this thing is conserved and aquatic marine ecosystem are very much less impacted. Okay, and it is an initiative by who? The Reef World Foundation and the UNEP. Here, so that is the green fins. Now, why was it in news? Yes, recently they have launched a Green Fins Hub. Okay, it's actually a digital platform. So UNEP and this Reef World Reef Global Reef Foundation has launched what? Green Fins Hub. Okay, it is actually a digital platform to boost sustainable marine tourism. And what are they trying to do? Yes, all the people who are trying to who do diving and snorkeling worldwide are given a set of practices that can be used by them to ensure what sustainable snorkeling and diving practices. Okay, so there are a set of standards given in this digital platform, and through every year they are trying to evaluate how successful they are in these practices by giving them scores, environmental scores. Okay, so they can so whoever does the diving, they can do self-evaluation. They can go to this website and do self-evaluation whether they have achieved this. So they can also look into all what are the activities they can do to ensure sustainable practices. And based on whatever they have done, so they can enter it in the portal and they'll get an environmental score. And every year they can keep on improving their environment score. Okay, so that is Green Finsa. It is an initiative by who? UNEP and Global Reef Foundation. Okay, clear? And it has what? Created a global digital platform for sustainable marine tourism, especially for those who are doing diving and snorkeling operators. So they are giving a set of standards and evaluating the performance. Okay, and they'll be given environmental scores. Okay, so they're actually doing self-evaluation by entering the progress on the platform. Clear? So that is Green Fins Hub. Okay. Yes. Now we'll move on to the next important topic, that is coastal regulation zone. Yes, this is very important for both prelims and mains point of view. So yes, we have the coastal regulation zone across all the coastal areas and also the water bodies. Okay. So we'll see what are the major initiatives. So there's a coastal regulation zone notified in 2019, which is an amendment to the earlier one. Okay, and it has classified the coastal areas in different zones for management. Okay, and it is constituted under the Environmental Protection Act. And remember, it is not the first time it has been constituted. It has been earlier notified since 1991 many times, and the earlier one was 2011. Okay. Then yes, it has also made it is made by the Union Environment Ministry, and the state governments has to implement this through their coastal zone management authorities. Okay, so it is remember, coastal regulation zones are notified by who? The Union Environment Ministry, and the state governments has to implement it through coastal management authorities. Okay. So they have also defined what the coastal regulation zone means. It's actually a land up to coastal land up to 500 meters from high tide lines. Okay, and remember, when it is a creek, estuary, backwater, river, etc., this is 100 meters. Okay, from high tide line, it is 100 meters. So generally, it is 500 meters from high tide line. It is called coastal regulation zone, and if it is near creeks or estuaries, etc., backwaters, etc., it is up to 100 meters. This has been reduced up to 100 meters. Okay, subject to tidal fluctuation. So this region is called what? The coastal regulation zone. Clear? Okay, so recently there has been changes. So first we'll see the first coastal regulation zone. So this was as per the notification 2011. There has been 4 coastal regulation zones: CRZ 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so CRZ 1 is the regions which are highly eco-sensitive, and this area, there is intertidal region. That is between high tide line and low tide line. Okay, and CRZ 2 are those areas which are developed near what? This all the regions developed near this coastal regions. Okay, areas that have been developed, that is buildings, structures, houses, etc. near this coastal regions. And CRZ3 are those regions which does not fall under CRZ1 and 2. Okay, they are classified as CRZ3. And also CRZ4 is into the sea. That means it is up to 12 nautical mile into the sea. Okay, from the high tide line. Okay, that is what here you can see CRZ4, 12 nautical miles from low tide line. Okay, so there is also no development zone. That is the zone up to which we cannot create any structures. So in this regulation, it was 200 meters. Okay, so what no development zone was at least 200 meters. So all the CRZ 1, 2, and 3 is beyond this 200 meters. Okay, and up to 500 meters. So up to 500 meters, we have the coastal regulation zone. Okay, one is that which are between the intertidal region, that is eco-sensitive region between the intertidal areas. Okay, and CRZ2 is where all the construction activities, all the building structures, etc. are there, and those which are not classified under CRZ1 and 2 are under what? CRZ3. Clear? Then we have CRZ4, which is into the sea, that is up to 12 nautical mile into the sea. Okay, that is CRZ4. And remember, the no development zone according to this was 200 meters. Clear? Okay. So you have got a basic idea of what the coastal regulation zone. Now we'll see what are the new rules. There have been certain changes with regard to these rules. The most important one is the changes in the what? CRZ3. That is, okay, the government has actually notified the CRZ rules with the stated objective what? To promote sustainable development and conserving coastal environment. And yes, CRZ3 rural areas has been divided into 2 categories. Okay, so there is a densely populated area, that is CRZ3 has been divided into 2 categories, CRZ3A and CRZ3B. So A is the category which has dense population. Okay, so we know that earlier no development zone was up to 200 meters. So in this dense populated area, the area is only up to what? 50 meters from high tide line. Okay, no development zone is only up to 50 meters. Okay, earlier it was 200 meters, this has been reduced to 50 meters. Then there is CRZ3B, where the population density is much lesser, that is lesser than 2,161 per square kilometer. Here, the no development zone is up to 200 meters. Okay, the earlier one itself it stands. So only difference is CRZ3A, where the no development zone has been reduced to 50 meters. Okay, where the population density is high. Okay, and also another change is like we told, like earlier backwaters and islands, etc. they had what up to 100 meters, right? No development zone. So this has what? No development zone of 20 meters in islands close to mainland or also backwater islands. Okay, so just imagine it has reduced so much, 20 meters only. Okay, so these are the major changes. So you can see it here. See, earlier it was here 200 meters no development zone. It has reduced to what? 50 meters in CRZ3A. So 1A is eco-sensitive areas. Then 1B is intertidal zones. So we have divided 1 into 2 categories. CRZ1. Then CRZ2 is area developed close to the shore. And 3 has 2 categories. That is densely populated area 3A, where the high tide line is 50 meters. And 3B, which is not densely populated, less population less than 2161 per square kilometers. Here the high tide line is around 200 meters from no development zone is 200 from the high tide line of 200 meters from high tide line. Then also we have what CRS set 4 as before. Okay, so that is into the sea, 12 nautical miles into the sea. Okay, then also the no development zone, only difference is in 3A, that is CRS 3A, we have up to 50 meters. The rest of the region we have 200 meters. Clear? So these are as per the latest notification. Okay. So that is coastal regulation zone. So whenever you write an answers with regard to CIZ, this norms, or whenever there's a question or anything, for mains especially, try to draw this diagram. Okay, marking these areas. Okay, that will be really give you an add-on marks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now we'll move on to another report. That is Renewables 22 Global Status Report, GSR 22 report. Okay. So this actually measures the what? Status of renewables. The Renewables 2022 Global Status Report, GSR 2022 report. This has been released by REN 21. Okay, remember the organization REN 21 has, you can relate it, REN 21, Renewables 2022 Global Status Report. So it is a renewable energy policy network for the 21st century. That is the organization REN 21. Okay, yes. And this actually highlights what opportunity of renewable-based economy and society to achieve more diversified and inclusive energy governance through localized energy generation and value chains. Okay. Yes, it also tries to what measure how much is the share of renewables across countries. And according to this report, they say that higher the share of renewables, the greater is the level of their energy independence. So if you have more renewables, that means you are more energy independent. Okay, so that is according to this report. And it is actually, REN 21 is actually a global collective of renewable energy actors. That means it is not just the countries which are part of this REN 21 organization. We have all stakeholders such as scientists, governments, NGOs, and other members of industries. Okay, so all of them come together and collect the data. Okay, and with regard to how much they have installed the renewable energy markets, and also the policy by the countries. All the data is collected by REN 21. So it is not just the government which are part of this REN 21 organization. There are other stakeholders such as NGOs, scientists, industries, etc. Okay, so that is global status report, renewables 2022. Okay, so we'll see what are the major highlights across the world. Okay. Yes, this report actually highlights what the green global energy transition. So they are saying that whatever the governments, that is according to Paris Climate Deal, whatever the governments or the countries across the world has committed, this is not actually happening. Okay, so whatever the renewable targets they have said, this is not happening. That is what this report is telling. Okay, and since we are not doing it, it is unlikely to keep our climate targets. That is 1.5 degrees to 2 degrees Celsius as per the Paris climate goal. So we are not likely to achieve this target. Okay, so that is what this report is telling. Okay, and yes, why is it so? There are so many countries who have set the target for net zero greenhouse gas emission in 2021. That is, they have set their targets to achieve at least net carbon emission by 2050 or 2070, right? India has kept a target by 2070. But the problem is most countries have gone back in their commitments and are actually consuming more and more fossil fuel energy. Okay, and this mainly happened especially after COVID. Okay, when they're trying to come back from the COVID impact, so they are trying to consume more and more fossil fuel energy, and they are going back on their commitments of net zero greenhouse gas emission. Okay, what are they committed? Okay, and another interesting thing is this initiative has actually prepared a world map of renewable energy shares. That is how much each country has committed and how much they have been successful in creating renewable energies. Okay, so this has been brought up in a map by this initiative. So what they are telling us, they are actually telling, yes, whatever target we have kept with regard to clean energy transition or renewable energy, this is not actually happening. And if we are going to continue this, we are not going to meet the climate energy targets. Okay. This is mainly because all the countries committed to net zero greenhouse gas emission have gone back. Most of the countries, okay, in their target. Okay. And they have also created a renewable energy map. Okay, how much each country has been progressing. Okay. And according to this, 84 of the 135 countries placed for net zero greenhouse gas in COP26 has what kept economy-wide targets, and only 36 has kept what 100% renewable targets. Okay. Although 84 has kept economy-wide targets for renewables, only 36 has kept for 100% renewable transition. Okay. Although this is global status, India is quite well off in this case. Okay, India is performing a lot better. So India has been ranked third in the renewable energy installation after China and Russia. Okay, so globally India is much better off than rest of the countries. And it has also added 843 megawatts of hydropower capacity in 2021. And India is also second largest market in Asia for solar photovoltaic cells and third globally. Okay. And India has been ranked third in what total installed capacity of wind power. Wind power also we are well off, behind China, US, and Germany. Okay. So yes, these were what with regard to the report. Okay, remember who publishes the report? It is REN21. It is it is an organization which brings together all, not just the government, but also NGOs, industries, and other stakeholders. Okay, scientists, etc. Okay, and according to them, we are not on the right path to the target of achieving, yes, the Paris climate deal. Clear? And they have also spoken about India's performance. So India is much better compared to other countries. Clear? Yes. Just remember who publishes this report, because that is what they'll be asking mostly for prelims point of view. Okay. Then we have the National Green Hydrogen Mission. Yes, this is very important because, yes, this is an initiative launched by our country to ensure what energy independence status and also to decarbonize our critical sectors. Okay. So we know most of the critical sectors in India are dependent on what the carbon energy or all the fossil fuel energy. So in order to decarbonize India, this is very important. Okay. And it has been launched in January 2023, and it has a budget outlay of 19,744 crores. Okay. You need not remember these figures. Just remember somewhat like it's around 20,000 crore or something like that. Mainly because UPSC has a tendency to give these numbers, but most probably it will be wrong if UPSC gives some numbers influence. Okay. So just remember, like the sum, it's in thousands or 10,000s. Okay, 20,000. Just remember it like that. Okay. Yes, and the mission will facilitate what demand creation, production, utilization, and export of green hydrogen. Okay, and it will try to mobilize at least 8 crore investment by 2023 with regard to green hydrogen. So they're trying to make India green hydrogen hub. Okay. So India would be one of the greatest producers of green hydrogen. So yes, you can see the likely outcomes. So by 2030, we are trying to produce at least a capacity of 5 million tons per annum green hydrogen. So at least 5 million tons of green hydrogen per year. Okay. So through this, we are trying to reduce the fuel imports. That is, we know it is one of the greatest burden on our exchequer, government exchequer, that is fuel import bill. So we are trying to reduce this bill by at least rupees 1 lakh crore by 2030, and thereby also create a job of at least 6 lakhs. Okay, employment opportunity of at least 6 lakhs. Okay, and apart from that, we are trying to create a renewable energy capacity of about 125 gigawatts. Okay, and also reduce at least 550 million tons of annual greenhouse gas emission. So these are our targets, our outcomes, if we are going to achieve with this National Green Hydrogen Mission. So 5 million tons per annum, at least 5 million tons per annum of green hydrogen production by 2030. We are trying to reduce fossil fuel imports bill by rupees 1 lakh crore, and also create 6 lakh job opportunities And also, we are ensuring what renewable energy capacity addition of 125 gigawatts and reduction of at least 50 million tons of annual greenhouse gas emissions. Okay. So, yes, how are we trying to do it? Yes, we are going to give financial incentives for domestic manufacturing of what all electrolysis and production of green hydrogen. Okay, so we are giving what incentives for those who create this electrolyzer for production of green hydrogen, and also we are trying to support large scale production. So we are trying to support all those who are trying to produce large scale production of green hydrogen and make those regions a green hydrogen hubs. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do. And what are the policy assistance we are going to policy framework? Okay, we are trying to develop a green hydrogen ecosystem. So for that, we are giving all the policy, enabling policy framework to support that. Okay, then we have a standards and regulation frameworks, for robust standards and regulation framework. Then there is PPP, public-private partnership, especially in the research and development sector, this field. Okay, and also we are promoting what skill development. Okay, so that is not much important. Remember, we are trying to make green hydrogen hubs. How we are incentivizing all those who are manufacturing, all the domestic manufacturers of electrolyzers for green hydrogen, and also the product producers, and also all those who are trying to produce large scale production. We are giving incentives. Okay, we are supporting them. Okay, so that is the National Green Hydrogen Mission. This is very important because there has been too much emphasis both in budget as well as economic survey. Okay, next is the LT-LEDs, long-term low emission development strategy. Okay, we have LT-LEDs. So why is LT-LEDs important? Yes, it has been mentioned in the COP. Okay, so this we actually saw it when we saw what UNFCCC and its COP. So we'll just have a brief about it. Okay, long-term emission development strategy. It's actually based on our target to achieve what net zero by 2070. Okay, this is a part of our Panchamrit promise. Okay, so India has actually submitted what long-term low carbon development strategy at COP 27. Okay, so it is based on India's right to an equitable and fair share of global carbon budget. That is, it has called for climate justice. So why are we calling for a global, equitable and fair share of global carbon budget? So India is actually asked, okay, so there are countries which are historically responsible for climate change, such as the most developed countries such as Europe and US. Okay, and there are developing countries such as India and many of the African countries. So when we are trying to develop, we must have more those who are already developed has already emitted a lot of carbon, and they must get a lesser share. Like they must be responsible for it. But those who are developing and those who are promoting their economy should have greater share in the carbon budget. So I told you, there is a total amount of carbon budget by which we can spend, which the whole world can emit, so that we can achieve the target of 2 degrees Celsius or 1.5 degrees Celsius, right? So in the carbon budget, India is telling that those developing countries and who are yet to develop should get a greater share, because those who have already developed has already emitted a lot of carbon, and they must be given historical responsibility. Right? They must take the responsibility, and hence they must take more steps toward ensure green economy or reduce the carbon footprint. Okay, so India is asking them for a space or a just division of the climate budget or carbon budget. Okay, so that is why India calls for climate justice. Clear? So India is asking them to give an equitable and fair share of the global carbon budget. Okay, so what are the major features of this LT-LEDs? Yes, rational utilization of national resources with regard to energy security. And India is saying that the transition from fossil fuel, it will not be quick and random one, but it will be just smooth and sustainable and an all-inclusive manner. Okay, and it has also set milestones for overall development of power sector through national hydrogen policy. There's a rapid expansion on green hydrogen project, then electrolyzer manufacturing capacity in the country. We're trying to increase it, and also threefold increase in nuclear capacity by 2032. So we have kept the milestones for overhaul of the power sector. So there's a national hydrogen policy. Then we are expanding our green hydrogen production. We are also trying to increase the electrolyzer manufacturing for hydrogen. Okay, and also threefold increase in the nuclear capacity by 2030. Okay, then there are also we have already spoken of this earlier. We are maximizing the use of electric vehicles. Ethanol blending is increased to at least 20%. Now it is 10%. Now we have increased it to 20% by 2025. Yeah, and also shift to public transport, multimodal transport. Okay. Yes, we are also promoting climate resilient urban development through we have smart city initiative. Then we have the green building codes. We spoke about all of these in the earlier classes, right? Then we are also promoting solid and liquid waste management. Yeah. Then the industries are focusing on the Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India initiatives. Okay, this will create a strong growth path for India. So through these, we are committed for we have submitted a LT-LETS, long-term strategy. Okay, yeah, that is LT-LETS. Remember, it was a plan submitted by us, a strategy submitted by India at COP27. This is LT-LETS. Okay. Then another initiative by India in the recent COP was Lead It. Okay, leadership group for industry transition. As I've already told, it is for Yes, all those sectors for which it is hard to abate. That is, they cannot reduce the carbon footprint. So in such sectors, heavy industry sectors, this leader is going to give assistance. Okay. It is actually gathering countries and companies that are committed to achieve Paris Agreement. Remember, it is an initiative by who? Yes, Sweden and India, along with support from World Economic Forum. Okay, so it is an initiative by governments of Sweden and India, and it was actually started in UN Climate Action Summit in 2019. Okay, and it is supported by who? World Economic Forum. Okay, so they are trying to support all the energy intensive industries to transform into to progress on low carbon pathways and also attain net zero carbon emissions. So they're trying to help the hard to abate industries, that is heavy industries who cannot transit, for whom it's hard to transition. They're giving assistance, or they are giving technology, and they are trying to help them. Okay, they're trying to ensure low carbon pathway and net zero carbon emission. Okay, they can calling upon all the countries. Okay, and what exactly do they do in this COP20? So I told it was launched in 2019 UN Climate Summit. And what exactly did they do in this latest COP? Okay, so the members of this initiative collectively agreed to promote value chain partnership and material circularity. They also try to invest in corporate and planning and implementation of infrastructure to support energy and industrial transition. So they're trying to implement infrastructure to support industry for energy and industry transition. Okay, so then also they're asking multilateral development banks and multilateral climate funds to de-risk investments for transition of heavy industries. So whenever there is a heavy industry transitioning from heavy carbon footprint to low carbon footprint, such transition of such heavy industries should be given de-risk investments. Okay, that is what they have asked multilateral development banks and multilateral climate funds, especially in emerging and developing countries. Okay, and they have also provided formulated a roadmap for heavy industry sector, so they can transition efficiently toward this net zero carbon emission. Okay, so that is what they have done in this latest COP. Clear? you need not remember all these in detail. Just remember leader is with regard to what transitioning of heavy industry sector from so that they can reduce their carbon footprint and achieve net zero carbon emission. Okay, and who it called for, and who are the major countries who try to do, that is Sweden and India. Along with it, its funding is from World Economic Forum. Okay, just remember these facts at least. Okay. Okay. And remember, it's not here it was launched where in UN Climate Summit 2019 it was launched. Okay. And they have called for, they have actually created a framework in the latest, proposed a framework in the latest COP27. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Next is the battery waste management. Okay. This is actually battery waste management rules is similar in lines of what solid waste management rules and plastic management. Okay. So, yes, when we spoke about lead poisoning, we spoke about battery, right? Battery is one of the major sources of lead poisoning. So that is why we need an efficient battery waste management framework. Okay. So what exactly is this? Yes. So government has recently published what the battery waste management rules 2023. Okay. So it is we're trying to provide environmental sound management of what waste batteries. That means they're trying to reduce the impacts of waste batteries on the environment. Okay. So through this, they're trying to reuse and refurbish whatever is the battery waste, and they're trying to ensure what a circular economy. Okay. So earlier there was a rule, a battery waste management handling rules 2001. This will actually replace that one, and it will take into account all types of batteries, that is electric vehicle batteries, portable batteries, automotive batteries, industrial batteries, etc. Or whatever kinds of batteries are there, all this would come under what this battery management rules. And why is that actually important now? Yes, we are promoting what more and more electric vehicles, right? So when we are promoting more and more electric vehicles, so what are the type of electric batteries used in electric vehicles? Yes, we have lead acid batteries, we have lithium ion batteries, etc. Right? So such batteries, okay, there should be proper disposal and proper management of such batteries. It cannot be disposed in open landfills or any, etc. Okay, so there should be proper management of proper disposal. So that is what ensured through this battery waste management rules. Yeah. So what exactly is the function? Okay, it has taken up the concept of extended producer responsibility. So we have already seen extended producer responsibility when we spoke about plastic waste management rules as well as e-waste management rules, right? So what exactly is extended producer responsibility? Yes, whoever is producing the product, that is in here the case is batteries. So they have the responsibility up to the end life of the battery. So whenever the use of battery is over, they have to collect it back, reuse or refurbish the battery. Okay, or sustainably dispose it. Okay. So the producers who are trying to include, it's not the producers who also import also has the responsibility what collection, recycling, refurbishing of waste batteries and use the recovered material for waste batteries into new batteries. Okay, so that is what extended producer responsibility. Okay, then they have also what mandates that all waste batteries to be collected and sent for recycling and refurbishment. And also they have prohibited disposing in landfills and incineration. So you're not supposed to what dispose the batteries to landfills and incineration. Mainly because what when you're disposing in landfills, what happens? You know, lead acid batteries, it leaches, right? It mixes it with the soil there, and if there is nearby water bodies, it reaches up to the nearby water bodies. When there is rain, everything, it will seep into the water table below, and it pollutes the water bodies. Okay, so such things has to be curbed. That is why it has actually prohibited disposal in landfills and incineration. Incineration means burning in the presence of oxygen. You're trying to burn it in incinerators. Okay, it can cause air pollution. Okay. So yes, in order to meet the EPR obligations, producers can. So like when we spoke about e-waste management rules, there was a thing that if you're not able to if you're not able to collect it back, or if you're not able to recycle it, you can give it your authority to some other organization, a third party who can actually do it. Same thing is applicable here. So if the producer is not able to engage themselves, they can authorize others. Okay. Third party who can collect, recycle, and refurbish. But they should show that they are doing it. Okay. So that is you can offset your responsibility. Okay. So these are some of the things covered under what battery waste management rules. Remember, it is similar to what plastic waste management rules or e-cycle in e-waste management rules. And remember, the focus is on extended producer responsibility for recycling, refurbishing, and reusing the what recovered materials. Okay, and also you cannot what dump it into landfills or incinerators. Yeah, that is battery waste management rules. Yeah. Now we'll go to the next important topic, that is PM Prana, that is promotion of alternative nutrients for agriculture management yojana. Okay, so it is alternative nutrients. Okay, so this is very important, especially with regard to what the chemical fertilizers and subsidy burden with regard to urea. Okay, so yes, PM Pranam is their promotion of alternative nutrient for agriculture management yojana. So this is trying to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. Okay, so we know how much is urea used. Urea, the fertilizer which is mostly used is urea, right? So in what proportion it is used in India? The actual proportion required for soil is 4:2:1, and India we are using almost double of that. Okay, so we are using an 8:3:1 proportion. That means so much we are using what? Urea. We are not having a correct proportion of fertilizers. NPK. NPK means nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. That proportion is actual proportion needed is 4:2:1, and we are using 8:3:1. Clear? So this tries to bring about a balance, reduce the impact of chemical fertilizer, and balance the usage of food. Okay. So two objectives are balanced use of fertilizer and also our promotion of biofood fertilizer and organic fertilizers. But an interesting fact is they are not going to fund this. Okay, there's no budget allocation. Rather, whatever subsidy burn, like urea is one of the most subsidized fertilizer available in the country, and that is one of the biggest problems in India subsidy burden for government. So whatever subsidy we are saving from this through this initiative, that money, that amount would be used to fund this project. Okay, so there's no particular fund allocation or budgetary allocation for this initiative. Rather, whatever amount is saved as a subsidy burden from that will be used for this initiative. Okay, and also remember, every year this has been increasing. Like for example, from last year, if you're comparing, there has been 39% increase in the subsidy of urea, okay, chemical fertilizers. Okay, and the proportion by which we are using, that is also important. So yes, I've told you there's no separate budget, and it will be financed by savings of extra fertilizer subsidy. Okay, and 50% of whatever amount is received, it will be transferred to the state government. Okay, so whatever we are getting, the extra amount from the subsidy, the savings from the subsidy, that will be given to the state government. 50% of it will be given to state government, and the state governments can use 70% of this fund for adopting new alternative fertilizers, technological alternatives, the creation of alternative fertilizer, and also ensuring alternative fertilizer production units at village, block, and district levels. Okay, for asset creation, 70% is used for this. creation of the infrastructure with regard to alternative fertilizers like fertilizers or organic fertilizers. Okay. And the remaining 30% is given as what? Awards. Okay, rewards to those farmers who are opting for what? Farmers or farmer producer organization or SHGs who are adapting a reduction in fertilizer use and also awareness generation. That is how this scheme is working. Okay. And how are we trying to calculate the reduction of this use of fertilizers? So whatever we are using this year is compared to last 3 years average. Okay. And the data is available on what? The fertilizer ministry dashboard, that is integrated fertilizer management system. So this data is complete. That is how this program is working. So remember, there is no budgetary allocation for this initiative. Rather, yes, whatever, how are we going to fund it? Whatever the savings from the subsidy. So we know subsidy on fertilizer is one of the burdens of the government. Okay, so whatever savings we are trying to achieve from the subsidy reduction, okay, that will be utilized for what? This initiative. Okay, and 50% of the savings would be sent, grant. The grant would be given towards states, and of which 70% should be used for what? Infrastructure or asset creation with regard to alternative fertilizers, and 30% should be used for what? Rewarding the farmers or farmer producer organization or SHGs for change in their reduction of fertilizer use and also awareness generation. Okay, here that is PM Pranam Yojana. So we are trying to promote what? Both balanced use of chemical fertilizers as well as alternative fertilizers such as bio fertilizers and organic fertilizers. Clear? So that is PM Pranam Yojana. Okay, this is very important because a lot of emphasis has been given both in budget as well as economic survey. So that scheme is very important. Okay, then we have the International Solar Alliance. Okay, so all of you would have heard about ISA, International Solar Alliance. Okay, this is one of the initiatives by Government of India. And why I'm discussing this is not a new initiative. This is important mainly because it has been given emphasis where in our economic survey. Okay. So yes, it is an initiative by what? India and France in order to combat what? Climate change. So they are trying to give solar energy solution. So they are trying to increase the use of solar energy as a part of renewable energy. Okay. And yes, this was what proposed or presented by the two countries in COP 2021. That is, sorry, COP 21 at Paris Climate Deal. That is Paris in 2015. Okay. So also remember, which are the Solar Alliance countries? All those countries which are sun rich, solar rich. Okay, solar resource rich between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So all the countries which partially or fully falls between what? Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and who are capable of harnessing what? This solar energy. They should be part of this International Solar Alliance. Okay, so initiative launched by India and France. Okay, so this is a dedicated initiative for promotion of solar energy among its member countries. Okay, and the latest joinee is Nepal. It has become the 105th member to sign this framework. Okay, so here you can see all the countries which come between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So you have so many African countries. We have these countries. Okay. So many countries. Okay. And one important fact is India also hosts its secretariat. Okay. So both India and France together has jointly laid the foundation for what? Its headquarters in Gurgaon. Okay. So this ISA has its headquarters in Gurgaon, Haryana. Okay. Also remember, there's one more organization, global organization, is Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, which is also an initiative by India. So this also has what? Its secretariat in Gurgaon. Okay. So these are two global organizations which India hosts its secretariat. Clear? Yes. So that is International Solar Alliance. And what are its major objectives? Yes, obviously it will be what? to expand our solar energy generation capacity to at least 1,000 gigawatts. Okay, global deployment. Okay, and also we need fund. So in order to achieve this 1,000 gigawatts of solar generation capacity, there should be investment of over US dollar 1,000 billion into solar energy by 2030. So we are trying to mobilize funds for this, achieving this 1,000 gigawatt of solar energy and at least $1,000 billion US dollars. Okay, by 2030 we are trying to mobilize. So these are the major objectives, and also we are trying to ensure availability and development of technology, and also not just the technology to produce electricity, we should also have storage technology. Okay, economic resources and storage technology, and also we must ensure mass manufacturing and innovation. So these are the basic objectives of International Solar Alliance. Clear? Okay. So yes, so that is, remember, it is an initiative by India and France, and it was it was presented in COP21 at Paris Climate Summit of UNFCCC in 2015. Okay, promote solar. Yes, it is for countries falling between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. That is solar-rich countries. Okay, who can generate more solar energy. Okay, and yes, it has major objectives: at least 1,000 gigawatts of solar energy capacity, solar generation capacity, and also yes, a budget. They have to mobilize funds of at least $1,000 billion. Okay, by 2030. Okay, and also they're trying to create both technology and also storage technology and also manufacturing and innovation. Clear? So these are the basic objectives of International Solar. Next important topic we would be discussing is microplastics. Okay, so microplastic, you would have all heard of microplastics. So it is actually plastic which are 5 mm in size, less than 5 mm in size. Okay, 5 millimeter. Particles less than 5 millimeters micrometers are called microplastics. Okay, so the main problem of this is most of the plastics in the world ends up in ocean. So when these ends up in ocean, what happens? It has a huge impact on both ocean, that's marine ecosystem, and aquatic life there. Okay, so basically there are two types of marine plastics. One which is directly of the small size, that is, there are tiny particles designed for commercial use and microfibers for clothing, etc. For example, there is something called micro beads. You can see it in your face wash or personal care items. Like whenever you have a face wash, there'll be small beads within it, right? That is actually micro beads made of plastics. That is called microplastics. Okay, that is one type of microplastic. Another type is the secondary one, that is which is made by breaking down. That is, if there is big plastic cover, whenever it's broken down into small particles or water bottles, etc. When it is broken down into small particles, then that also results in microplastics. Okay, we know that the rate of disintegration of plastic is actually negligible. It's not actually happening. Okay, so such things get broken into small particles, finally resulting in microplastics, and they end up in ocean. Okay, so yes, what are the major problems? The chemicals which as a problem in plastics. So there are two most important substances which are dangerous, that is bisphenol A, BPA, and also phthalates. Okay, so these are the two major byproducts. The problem is it actually is an endocrine disruptor. That means it impacts the ability to reproduce. So it can create fertility issues. Okay, that is the biggest danger for this. Okay, so what has India done in order to reduce this impact of plastic footprint? So India has actually bans single-use plastic. So when we studied the plastic waste management rules, we spoke about ban of single-use plastics. So that means we are promoting more of recycling of single-use plastic. plastic. We are promoting more recyclable plastic than single-use plastic. Okay, then also we have the plastic waste management rules. And since the 2016 rules, we have ensured what segregation, collection, processing, and disposal of plastic waste at local body level. That is, at every local body has to what segregate, collect, process, and dispose the plastic waste. Okay. Then also there is a concept called extended producer responsibility, which we saw in all the when we spoke about plastic waste management rules. Even the latest one has given more emphasis for extended producer responsibility. Okay. Then there is an unplastic collective. Okay, this is a voluntary initiative by what UNEP, Confederation of Indian Industry, and WWF India. Okay, unplastic collective. It tries to minimize the externalities of plastic on ecological and social health of our planet. Okay, so unplastic collective. It is a voluntary initiative. Remember who are the partners? It's UNEP, for Confederation of Indian Industry, the CIA, and WWF India. Okay, unplastic initiative. So these are some of the initiatives in India. Okay. And one interesting thing you must know is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So what is Great Pacific Garbage Patch? Yes, I told you, right? All the plastics which are produced are mostly ending up where? In the ocean. And the deepest part, that is in the Pacific. Okay, in I think northeast, the central Pacific, northern central Pacific, there is a big heap of plastic. Okay, it's really big. That is called a Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Okay, we'll see about it. Yes, it is actually a gyre of marine debris particles in the north central. So we know like the currents in the northern Pacific, it goes like this, right? So when it goes like this, all these plastics come and deposit in the north central Pacific Ocean region. Okay, it's mainly the highest concentration is in between what? The California and the Hawaiian coast. Okay, it's between there. We'll see that. Yes, it is located mainly halfway between Hawaii and California. It is the largest accumulation zone of ocean plastics. Okay, that is where highest amount of ocean plastic is there. And here more than 94% of the plastic is made of what? Microplastics. Okay, so you can see here, this portion. Here you have California, San Francisco, Mexico. That is Northern America, and between Hawaii. So this is where you can see the red dot. That is where highest concentration of microplastic is there. And there is lighter concentration. But still, all this are what? We have the regions of this, the plastics, so totally plastic. So you can see how much plastic it's like what? An iceberg, right? So only a few part you can see on top. Towards the bottom, there are so much plastics. Okay, and remember, almost 46 of this is what discussed in fish gear, the fish net, etc. Whatever fish gear is there, majority of 46% is of this type plastics. Okay. So yeah, so that is Great Pacific Garbage Patch. You can use this for mains answers or while you write your essays or everything. Okay. Yes, so we have almost completed all the 100 topics, and we'll just summarize all the reports and organization we have learned all through these classes and topics. Okay, we'll just summarize it. So first, there is a State of the World's Birds. So who publishes it? Yes, it's BirdLife International, and India's partner is Bombay National History Society. So BirdLife International and BNHS together publishes what? State of World's Birds report. Okay. Then FAO, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, publishes State of World Forest 2020. Okay, State of World Forest report. And according to this report, almost 54% of the forest, world forest, is in just 5 nations. More than 50, that is more than 50% of the forest in just 5 countries. It is Russia, Brazil, Canada, US, and China. These 5 countries have what? More than 50% of the world's forest. Okay. And yes, forest has actually absorbed more carbon than they emitted in the last decade. Okay. And the rate of deforestation is also declining. That is also an interesting fact. Okay. Then, yes, there is Global Mangrove Alliance, which has submitted the report, State of Mangroves Report. Okay, 2022. So global mangrove. So these are actually easy to remember. Okay, then we have the World Wide Fund for Nature (WWF). This has submitted to a report and an index, that is Living Planet Report 2022 and Living Planet Index. Okay, UPSC has asked this in previous year. So WWF has published what? Living Planet Report 2022 and Living Planet Index. Okay. So remember BirdLife International, it's easy to remember, and BNHS has published what? State of World's Birds. Okay. And FAO has published what? State of World's Forest. Okay. And Global Mangrove Alliance, State of Mangroves 2022, World WWF India has, WWF has published what? Living Planet Report and Living Planet Index. Okay. Then, yes, UNCCD, we looked into UNCCD in detail, right? So, yes, there is a global land outlook too. Okay, for land restoration, for recovery and resilience. So, this global land outlook too has been published by UNCCD. Then there is drought in numbers 22 report and global drought vulnerability index. So, we saw all these reports in detail when we studied the topics of UNCCD. Okay, remember which are the reports by UNCCD? It will be related to land and drought, right? So it is global land outlook to land restoration, recovery, and resilience. Then there is drought in numbers and global drought vulnerability index. Okay, so these are the reports published by who? UNCCD. Then there's World Water Development Report. Remember, it is by UNESCO. Okay, we might not suddenly remember, but UNESCO actually publishes what? World Water Development Report. Okay, so you cannot actually suddenly remember, but most of the other reports you can actually compare with the organization, but you might not always remember UNESCO publishes what? World Water Development Report. So remember that. Okay, then WMO, you can relate it to what? State of Global Water Resources Report. Okay, so we have seen that when we studied about WMO. Then there is Dynamic Groundwater Resource Assessment Report by Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay, so it's with regard to what? The groundwater resources assessment. Okay, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Dynamic Groundwater Resource Assessment Report. Okay, then OECD has published what? Global Plastic Outlook Policy Scenarios to 2016. Okay, so OECD is important with regard. There are other reports also published by OECD, but remember, it is published what? Global Plastic Outlook, which was in news last year. Okay. Then there is Sustainable Development Solution Network of UN, which is published what? Sustainable Development Report, which assesses the progress and sustainable development goals. Okay. So this is comparable, Sustainable Development Report. Okay. Then REN 21, which we spoke, this organization published what? The Renewable 2020 Global Status Report. Okay. So these are the few reports with in what the environment which you have to remember. At least if you must remember. Okay. So yes, with that we complete the 100 topics of words. Yes, environment, current affairs. Okay. So the important topics which we covered today includes what? The SCAP project by UN Habitat and UNIDO, along with MOHUA. Okay, so you must look into that. Then we also spoke about the body UN Habitat and the reports it publishes. Then, yes, all the major initiatives in budget, the green initiatives. We have a green hydrogen mission, renewable energy evacuation, green credit program, PM Pranam, which is very important. Govardhan scheme is there. Then Bharatiya Prakrit Kheti Bio Input Resources Centers, MISHTI, with regard to mangrove initiative for shoreline habitats and tangible income. Okay, then Amrit Dharohar with regard to what? Wetland conservation. Okay, then we spoke about the sovereign green bonds framework, which was what? Issued by the RBI. Okay, it will be used for funding what? The green projects. Okay, all the public sector projects which try to reduce what? The carbon emission. Okay, then we spoke about the green bonds. What are the which all in sectors would be funded by green bonds, and also India's green bonds framework. Okay, the features of it, that such as uniform price auction, eligibility for repo, how it can be used for what? SLR. Okay, It is eligible for trading in secondary market and also as what can be used for as government securities by NRS. Okay. Then the implementing agency, that is Green Finance Working Committee. Okay. Yes. Then also we spoke about the success of the National Action Plan on Climate Change, all of the 8 initiatives and how much it successful was. Okay, so that is very important. So you must know all the 8 initiatives or 8 action plans. Okay. 8 missions under the National Action Plan on Climate Change. Okay. Then we looked into all the promotional measures and regulatory measures with regard to conservation of mangroves. Okay, then Magical Mangroves campaign by WWF India and all the coastal states. Then we have the Integrated Coastal Zone Management Project, which also conserves mangroves. Then there is Mangroves Marine Biodiversity Conservation Foundation by Kerala government. Okay, it tries to increase public participation by providing seedlings and mangrove associated species so that public can plant it in the coastal region. Okay. Then the Green Fins Hub, which gives standards for the diving and snorkeling people in the tourism industry. Okay, give standards so that they can ensure sustainable marine tourism. Okay, it is an initiative by UNEP and Global Reef Foundation. Okay. Yes. Then we spoke about the coastal regulation zone. The latest changes, how CRZ 3 is divided into 2 categories, CRZ 3A and B. A is where there is a high density of population and the no development zone would be only up to 50 meters. CB is the normal one where no development zone is up to 200 meters. Okay. Then the REN 21 report, Renewables 2020 Global Status Report. Okay, we saw about that, how India is performing well and how the world is not on the right path to the renewable energy targets. Then the National Green Hydrogen Mission, which is very important. Okay. Then we also saw LTLEDs, long-term, low-emission development strategy, which has been submitted by India in the latest COP 27. Okay. Then all the salient features of that, how we are trying to achieve the long-term strategy. Then the leader initiative, we spoke about it. Then the battery waste management rules, which is actually banned disposing batteries to open landfills and incineration. Rather, it has ensured more extended producer responsibility and called for recycling, refurbishing, and reusing of the battery waste. Okay, then the PM pronoun, it's very important. Okay, to reduce the use of chemical fertilizer and also the subsidy burden of chemical fertilizer. Okay, and all the savings from the subsidy would be used for funding the project, and it promotes alternative fertilizers as well as ensure balanced use of chemical fertilizers. Okay. Yes, and how the proceedings would be used. The subsidy or 50% would be transferred to states, 70% of which would be used for infrastructure creation of alternative fertilizers. Okay, and also 30% used for rewarding the farmers and farm producer organizations and other ICTs. Okay. Then there is International Solar Alliance, initiated by India and France, and its secretariat is where in Gurgaon. Okay. And its major objective of 1,000 gigawatts of solar energy generation capacity and also $1,000 billion of funding by 2030. Yeah. Then also we saw the last topic, that is microplastics. Okay, how it will end up in where the marine ecosystem and the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Okay, and all the reports we discussed so far. Okay, so with that we've come to the end of all the important topics with regard to environment current affairs in the last year. Okay, thank you.